Ebooks have taken the publishing industry and the world by storm. The tablets that have been produced and that are available, whether it's the Kobo or the iPad or the Kindle, are phenomenal, amazing pieces of technology. And that's allowed people to store a lot of books for portability purposes. You can download the books quickly, and for many people, that suits their lifestyle. And I think it's great for writers. It's a way for writers to reach a whole new market and a way for people to find new and exciting writers out there without having to go to a bookstore. Having said that, one of the things people should remember is that ebooks is a format. Ebooks are not something new. It's just a different format for the book. The printed book is converted to a PDF, and then it is in that sense digital, and in that sense it's allowed to be downloaded. It's really format. So the ebook itself is not a publishing concept. It's not a publishing formula. It's just a format. You can make the case and make the argument that the printed book will always exist because the printed book has certain parameters to it that will always be true. It has to be constructed. You have to build the book. You have to write the book. You have to edit the book. You have to have a logical pace and formula to the book. That is always going to be true, and it should be true with ebooks, and in most cases it is. I think what we haven't seen in ebooks yet is we haven't seen different types of ebooks that work for technology. In other words, there hasn't been one particular ebook format, size, length, price that's worked yet. It's all over the map. You go on the websites and take a look at the ebook prices. They're all over the place because no one's quite sure what works yet. In many respects, ebooks are kind of like the wild, wild west time of publishing. It's new, it's different, it's exciting, but nobody quite knows what the landscape is going to be will look like. It's still kind of rough around the edges. Fabulous, interesting, and taking the world by storm, but it's still, in terms of the book publishing industry, kind of new and different. So there's a lot of advantages to it, but disadvantages, I would say, are if you are writing solely for the ebook market as an author, and that's all you want to do, understand that now the bookstore is massive. It is not one shelf in a bookstore that you're competing with. You're not competing with every book that's out there. So your problem, in effect, is that you have a massive amount of competition. The competition you have is really everything. So that's one. Number two is that the difficulty with the ebook market is that you cannot distinguish yourself from the competition. There aren't reviews per se. Printed books still have, to some degree, it's not as many as we'd like to see, but there still are reviews. There's still this print coverage. There's magazines dedicated to books. You don't quite get that in ebooks yet. It's not quite there yet. We don't have that type of review attention for ebooks that we have for printed books. So that's a disadvantage. So you produce the ebook, you get it out into the marketplace on the internet. Now what do you do? So that's a disadvantage. That hasn't been fully developed yet. So there's advantages, but there's also disadvantages that people should be aware of. I'd say the percentages is growing day by day. All the publishers have looked at their backlist. In other words, books that have been previously published, and they've converted them to ebooks, and they put them out on the web. And that's great because it's brought life back to books that are not languishing so much as really don't have the same amount of attention as the new books do. It's managed to bring those books back out of the marketplace, and that's been a great thing. So those books are now on the marketplace, but they're competing with you too. So if you're writing a new book, you're competing with all the books that were published 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. So understand that the marketplace is massive. So yes, all books will eventually be converted to ebooks. All publishing contracts, in fact, when a trade publisher buys the rights from an author, and we as agents, we see this every day, they have the right to publish that book in any format. That includes ebook format, so that you are granting them the rights to do that, both in printed form and in ebook form. So that means that all new books that are being acquired will also automatically turn into ebooks. The great mystery right now is how to market ebooks and how to distinguish yourself from the others that are out there. Right now, it seems that most books on the internet are reviewed through peers. In other words, through people looking at it and commenting on them. So you have ratings either by stars or whatever it might be that let people know whether this is a good book or a lousy book. So that's one way of reviews, that reviews are happening on the internet. But are there critical reviews? Not so much. You get a little bit through some of the online newspapers and magazines that do some of it, but they can't possibly keep up with the amount of ebooks that are being produced every day. So you, as the author, have a problem. Your problem is make your book different. You can do that through a web page. You can do that with your web page as part of your marketing platform for you and your company. But I think one of the best ways of doing that is that your ebook should be produced in tandem with a printed copy of your book. The printed copy has visibility. It's on a bookshelf. It's on a desk. It's at an airport. It's something you can pass along to people. How do you pass along an ebook so easily? It's more difficult, isn't it? If someone has a tablet, that's great. But what if your friend, your neighbor, doesn't have a tablet? They might be able to download your ebook on their home PC, but they don't have the portability, do they? A book, printed book, has portability. It has something you can give to somebody. As an author, you can sign it and give it to somebody. You can't you can't autograph an ebook. At least I haven't seen the technology that really works very well in autographing ebooks. Printed book, you can do that. So in terms of marketing, I think the ebook has to be published in tandem with the printed book. I think you need a web page. I think you need a marketing campaign. You need to make sure your concept is well thought out. Then I think you're now distinguishing yourself from the competition out there and giving people a reason to come to you versus putting it out there on one of these internet book sites, which is very crowded. I think they would be. I think it's much like when you self-publish a printed book. If you can demonstrate that you can sell your book, that there's a market for your concept, that people will pay to buy your book, I think that works for the printed book and it works for the ebook. Demonstrate to people that there's an audience for what you have to say, that people want to buy your story, buy your theories, buy your philosophy, buy your business information, whether it's in ebook format or printed format. If you can demonstrate that, people will be interested in that. And when I say people, I mean trade publishers and editors. They'll be interested in what you have to say because they will look at it this way. If you as a self-published author can reach this amount of people, as a trade publisher with all of our resources, we can reach this many people. In other words, they believe that they can take you and make you much bigger. And by compounding, in effect, your idea and your book into a much bigger audience, into many more markets, that's how they succeed. So if you can prove that your concept works on a certain level, and sometimes that level changes, but if you can prove that it works, editors are interested in that. Publishers are interested in that. Sales forces are interested in that. And bookstores are interested in that because that means sales. That's a good thing. I think we will. I think we will work in tandem with authors for printed books and ebooks. So it'll be a simultaneous release. That's the first thing. I think that's important. But I think as this marketplace, the ebook publishing marketplace, starts to develop and be more refined, we're going to be more active in that whole area because we have to be. That's where publishing is heading. Printed books aren't going away. They're still going to be around. But the ebook and the rapid growth of tablets, the rapid growth of people who download those books is going to build. And we have to come along with that, and we will come along with that.